Hello and welcome back to Marineford TCG. This weekend was the Hyogo CS out in Japan. Top 16 has happened, so we're going to start commentating. So before we get started with the match, these were the decks that made it to the top 16, and I've got to say this is incredible. 11 different leaders in top 16? I don't think this has ever been seen before. This is a crazy diverse format. I'm thrilled. I'm looking forward to so much. We've got 4 BYs, 3 Dofis. That's to be expected. And you got one each of RP Luffy, Betty, Bonnie, Nami, Purple Luffy, Purple Black Luffy, Smoker, Lucci, and Blackbeard. Real nice variety of decks. Really cool to see. So, without any more yapping about that, let's look at this matchup. So, in this one, we actually have Black Yellow Luffy, and he's up against Smoker. So, this could typically be a relatively difficult matchup for Smoker. Smoker is slightly better into BY than Lucci is, but it can still be pretty tough. You do have the Tashigi to get around their Sabo effect. I imagine that will be a pretty impactful card in this matchup. But the rest of your effects are KO based. So outside of the Tashigi, it can be a pretty tricky time for you as a Smoker player. I'm going to put this onto 1.25 speed while the Smoker player's deck gets shuffled. Be interesting to see how this one plays out, if the Smoker player decides to do a full starve or tickle the BY Luffy player down a little bit. I anticipate we'll see a full starve strategy. That's normally what we see with these black decks into BY. And we are going to see the opening hands of the players soon here. Interesting to see what they start with. And first up we see... Attention's killing me. Show us the hands. Here we are. And the BY player has a Flompe, a Searcher Event, a Moria, a Baby Ace, and a Hyogo. So you don't see Hyogo all the time. Kingdom Come, Hyogo. But this is a tech that's cropping up quite a bit more in set 9. This helps you deal with big cards like the Big Blackbeard, Big Shanks. You know, there's a lot of 10 costs and 9 costs coming out. The new Purple Luffy is pretty good. And that can help you deal with that as a BY player. Especially if your opponent is choosing to starve you, and trashing down to 1 life isn't that bad for a deck like this, because you want to be at 0 anyway. And we do see the opening hand for the Smoker player. We've got Tsuru, Tashigi, brand new Borsalino, and Big Tashigi. This is a pretty good hand. I think both these players have pretty good hands. The BY player definitely going to need to be seeing some of his black Sabos soon, and baby Sabos of course. But this is looking pretty good for Smoker. He's got a Searcher, he's got the Tashigi that he needs, and Borsalino is pretty nice as well. Not being able to be KO'd by that Egghead Luffy can come in pretty clutch. It's a body that just sticks around, and it's a blocker, so any 5k swings he can just tap Borsalino. Pretty good. We will see the players start soon. We will see who goes first. I imagine both of these players wanted second in this matchup. And we do see the BY player going first, choosing not to use the event or the Flampe. And the Smoker player is going to draw to 2. Draws a Brook for turn. We do see the brand new. And we'll see what he grabs off that. We do see Tashigi, Ice Age, and... Is that Kobe? I think that's Kobe. Or is that the other Tashigi? Either way, I imagine we see the Tashigi grab here, most likely. We can find another Ice Age, and those Tashigis are incredibly important in a matchup like this. And looks like that is the 2k Tashigi that hit the trash there. So, pretty good start for Smoker. Nothing too crazy. We're going to see 8 from BY. Smoker's going to take that every day of the week. And he gets a... What was that? What did he grab? He grabbed a... I can't see, but he got a 2k for turn. It's a Moria. He got a Moria off the life. That's pretty nice. He will need those. Borsalino comes down for 4. And we're just going to see a pass. Keeping it simple. No need to attack into Luffy at this point. Little deck issue with the BY player drawing for turn there. But that's okay. And BY has drawn a Baby Luffy and a Big Sabo. We are going to see 1 come down now for the event. See what we grab off that. Looks like we're going to be able to grab an Ace only. These other 4 are not brothers. But the Ace is pretty nice. He does have the Baby Ace, so could use that to put a bit of early pressure on this Smoker player. And we're just going to see 9 at life. And Smoker is going to be forced to take this. He can't afford to give up 3 cards. There's no way. And we do see a 3rd Tashigi come down, which is pretty incredible. So a bit of a weird place for Smoker, right? Because if the BY Luffy player doesn't play anything, you can't remove anything. And black decks, you know, they like to remove things, right? So it'll be interesting to see what we see come out here. Is that a Sabo? Can't quite tell. No, that's a Kobe. Yeah, he doesn't have a great play this turn, really. He could just play outer Tashigi, have a body on the board. Could also go with a 2k Tashigi and a Brook. But he's just going to pass. That's interesting. I don't know, I feel like getting 2 more dudes on the board could have been quite nice. Just the Brook and the Tashigi. Develop a bit more of a threat to try and put some pressure on this BY. And the BY does draw another Moria, which is pretty nice. You know, they love seeing their Morias. But yeah, interesting. None of these players playing very much. a bit of a Mexican standoff. 7 Don here for the BY player. Looks like he's eyeing up the Sabo or the Ace, and then 2 on leader. I imagine if we see 2 on leader, we'll see the block with Borsalino and just a 2k from hand. I imagine that will be a reasonable play for the Smoker player to make. We do see 7, and how's he going to respond? I imagine we see block 2k. Looks like you can give 2 cards though. Maybe. We're thinking about it. Yeah, we're giving 2-1, a Tsuru and a Kobe. So that might make the BY Luffy player more likely to use the Ace, just to put on more pressure. But it looks like he's eyeing up the Sabo. I think it's a sensible play. Playing pretty conservatively here, keeping a blocker up, always nice. We'll give the Smoker player something to do. He can play one of his Tashigis out to remove that Sabo, which is pretty nice. It being a trash effect is so good. And looks like the BY player is eyeing up trashing the Ace, as well as... Is that a baby Luffy? No, that's the baby Ace. And we do see a baby Sabo in hand now, and a Garp. So that's pretty good. Nice 2 draws there off of Sabo. Does need to see those baby Sabos. And you know, Garp's always good. Help the consistency of the deck out. Looks like we drew looks like we drew a brand new for the Smoker player. And he is on 8 Don. So he could do Moria, just bring 2 dudes back and pass. But I imagine we're more likely to see the Tashigi come down. Use the leader effect, -1 the Sabo. And then the Tashigi can remove the Sabo. But we don't. We see Moria. Interesting play from the Smoker player. And we are going to see just the Tashigi come back. Potentially. I'm not sure how much I like this. I feel like getting rid of the Sabo would have been nice pressure with the Tashigi. Looks like he's dropped half his hand. And we could have even played the brand new after that, as we would have had 2 Don left. And we'd have had a full board, no Sabos. We could have even swung 5 just to get 1 hit in. And then on the next turn, you're threatening something. But either way, it's what the Smoker players decided to go for. I'm sure he's a good player, and doesn't care about the Sabo being on the board. To be fair, if the Sabo is on the board, it's not coming back, which is always worth knowing. Looks like the BY player plays out the Garp, grabbing a Luffy. I do think with that Sabo there, it does create a bit of an awkward situation for the Smoker player, where if the BY player plays something like that 5-cost Luffy, or even a 5-cost Ace, or another 5-cost Sabo, you now have quite a big board to deal with. We're going to see 9 come in from BY, and he's holding 4 up. 4 for... do we have a Hiyori? We don't have a Hiyori. See what this 4 does. Maybe just 10 with Sabo. Yep, 10 with Sabo. A lot of pressure. I do think the Smoker player should have dealt with that Sabo on the last turn. I think potentially that's a misplay. But hey, who am I to say? I'm sitting here on comms. I can see all the cards in the hand. We do take the life there. Looks like we've got a full playset of Tashigi. Definitely need to start getting those down soon. Mori on board is always nice. We also have a Hina and another Borsalino. So we could, on 10, go with Tashigi, minus down the Sabo, Smoker effect, minus down the Sabo, Tashigi effect, remove the Sabo, and then go with Borsalino, which could be pretty good. I don't imagine we'll see very many swings. You could maybe do 1 swing with leader into his leader. I wouldn't hate that. You can after the Don buff, it goes to 7, so it's not easy for him to counter. And then on the next turn, we'll have a Tashigi, 2 Borsalinos, a Moria, and a brand new to threaten life. I think it could be a good play to attack once here, at least. Unlikely that the player on the right is going to be able to activate. They're certainly not going to be able to activate and play Moria. But we'll see. We'll see what they go for here. Confirming 8 in hand. He's thinking about swinging first. He's just going to go 5 at life. BY player is going to take that one. Gets an ace off of the life. We do see another 5 with the 2k Tashigi. I think that's fair enough, but we aren't going to see both Borsalino and Tashigi come down now. We do see 5 with brand new. I imagine we're going to counter that one if we're the player on the right. Going down to 1 would seem quite risky, but we'll see. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. We do have 2 swings left for Smoker, and looks like we're going to see the Sabo hit the trash. I think that's pretty good. Yep, we do see Sabo hit the trash, and we have 7. We should have 8 Don, right? No, there's 2 on brand new. Yeah, so we've got 7 Don left. So this might be. We're going to see 9 into Sabo. Then it looks like we're going to see 2 for brand new, and then 4 for Borsalino. Or 5 for Tashigi. Remove the Garp. We're getting an Ice Age off that brand new. Nothing too crazy. 5 Don left. I imagine it's Borsalino. We'll see. We'll see. 4. Yep, 4 for Borsalino. Replacing the tapped brand new. Makes sense to me. And we do see the pass. So, I wonder if that's better than playing out the Tashigi and the Borsalino, removing the Sabo, and just swinging once. We'd have a full board of attackers ready to go. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm not sure about that play from the Smoker. I think that turn was pretty good for the BY. He plays out the flamp, draws a couple of cards. Going to be able to activate this turn. Does draw into a Hiyori, which is really nice. Can do 2 for Hiyori, put something in life, and then summon 2 Sabos back from trash, or Sabo Ace, and then play out the baby Sabo from hand. We are going to play the Hiyori, very nice, take the life there. That's a baby Sabo, that's excellent, you love to see that if you're BY. And what did we put in there? Looks like we put in. I'm not sure what he put there. I wasn't keeping track. Looks like he's eyeing up the Luffy though, so maybe it was one of those trash Luffys. That could be pretty nice. And we will see 2 come down for the. Oh, it was a Sabo. Oh. He made a mistake there. Used 2 Don for a baby Sabo, and he put a Luffy in life. Played the wrong character. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Just throwing the card away there. He knows it's a mistake. Didn't mean to do that, but here we are. So we are at 7k leader, but this is going to create a really good opening for the Smoker player. Only 7k leader with no blockers. That's tough. That's a really unfortunate mistake there. Just got lost in the sauce. The pressure of these environments is pretty crazy. If you've ever been on stream for any games, you know these are the toughest games of the tournament. Really high stakes, really high pressure. Everyone's watching you. Very easy to make a mistake like that. But either way, we're going to see 10 somewhere. Not sure where this 10's going. Maybe at life. We did see the Luffy come out eventually. I imagine that Luffy has buffed itself as well to 8k power. He's going to block with Borsalino. It's interesting. That is interesting. I'm not certain why you would block with Borsalino. If the attack was into Mori, you would obviously counter. If the attack's into leader, I don't know. Unsure. Either way, we've got 2 life back. Did trash a card there for that. So 7k leader, 2 life. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 swings. We can use leader effect to minus down the Garp, so Smoker can become 7 for just 1 Don. Mori is already 9. Borsalino needs 2 Don to swing, and Shigi needs 3. That would leave us with 4 more to distribute as we see fit, or to use for something else. We could do Ice Age Brook to remove this Luffy, guarantee the clear on that, so that we've not got any threat coming back. Will be interesting to see what he goes for here. Likely going to see at least this Luffy hit the bottom of the deck. Not a ton of counter on the right. I can see a Makino, a Garp, and a baby Sabo. Is that it? Just 4k? Oof, this is a dicey situation for the Luffy player, for sure. Yes, this is pretty spooky. Looks like we're going to see 9 into life, and he's going to bottom deck that Luffy. I think that makes a lot of sense. As the Smoker player, that sort of tells you that he doesn't have a lot of counter. That really does sort of tell you that he doesn't have a lot of counter left. So I wonder if we'll see 9 from Smoker now, potentially. Using the leader effect to -1 the Garp, and then just needs 3 Don on leader to swing 9, which is pretty good. That would probably eat the Markino and one of these 1Ks. Probably the Sabo. But we'll see. We do see the Ice Age come down. Wonder if we'll see the Brook. Looks like we're thinking about it. We're thinking about what to do with this Don. It's a tricky turn. Hard to know what to do here. But I do think pushing the pace at face here is pretty good. If this game drags out too much and the player on the right is able to cycle 100 Sabos, it's going to get really tough. So we've got 11 at leader. And we're going to bottom deck the Sabo with that. And we see 4 come down for Rebecca Brook. Okay. But we're not putting any more pressure on his life. I don't love this. I feel like this is a waste of Don. We could have, at the very least, just done like 9 here. And then put this 2 on Borsalino and swing with that. Especially if we're developing the Rebecca, it's going to be hard for the opponent to clear the Rebecca and the Borsalino whilst developing 2 Sabos. In fact, it's going to be impossible. So I do think we could have done a slightly better job with the distribution of Don this turn. But hey, who am I to say? Who am I to say? We do see 2 Don come down for the leader. The other 8 will be for Moria. I think for turn we drew a Luffy. Yep, we drew a trash Luffy there. Pretty good. Only 1 Sabo in trash, which is not ideal. But it is what it is. Likely going to see the trash on the Hyogo come down. Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Nope, trash is the ace. Okie dokie. 3 summons, Luffy and Sabo. Sabo on top. Okay, so just 1 resummon this turn. Okay, so we're not developing Moria this turn. We're going to do Sabo for Sabo. Off to 7. Draw 2, trash 2. So we do finally see the Egghead Luffy as well, which is really nice. Looks like he's going to trash 2 Luffys, 1 of each. 1 of the trash Luffy and 1 of the Egghead Luffy. We do see 9 somewhere, and that is going to get blocked with Rebecca. I imagine that's at life. And we do see the Hyogo come down, removing the Moria. So that's a pretty good play. I like that play. He keeps 1 life, 7k. He's got a little bit of counter. He's got 3 Morias. If he can survive for sort of 1 to 2 more turns, this BY is going to be laughing. He's going to be laughing. But we'll see what the Smoker wants to go for here. Could be as simple as Tashigi coming down at -4 here. Leader effect, -1, buff to 7. Remove the Sabo. And then you've got... what have you got left? You've got 4 more Dons. So this would be 7. And so you could make that 9 and then put 3 on one of these little dudes to do 7 with Brook. It's not great. It's not great. I don't love it, but it might be the best we have at this point. Yep, looks like we are going to see that play to remove the Sabo. And Tashigi's going to remove the Sabo. Makes sense to me. And then we're going to see 7 at lead. Okay, just 7 at lead. Maybe keeping this 4 up for Borsalino again. I do think we really need to start pushing the aggression at the BY player. There's not much downside for him to bottom deck that. I think here we should swing 9 with Borsalino. Just force him to have it. Force him to have it. I don't know though. It is a little risky, so I understand why he wouldn't want to do that. We'll see. I think bottom decking that Luffy sort of gives you the idea there's not a lot of counter left. We are going to see... I think we're going to see the play of the Borsalino here. I feel like the Smoker player wants to play quite slowly, which might be the best way to approach this matchup. We'll just have to see. Another Borsalino comes down. That cannot be removed by Egghead, which is always nice. I would have loved to see a bit of value out of some of these units. They're kind of just sitting there not doing very much. And now we're surely going to see Moria double Sabo. We do have 2 Sabos, right? Nope, just 1. So only 1 Sabo again, which is not too bad. We do see the top deck of the Garp. I wonder if we'll see him trash a Moria. Nope, just a Garp. Keeping it simple. He's not scared of the counter. Moria comes down. Luffy Sabo, very good. Luffy, It gets with the bottom of the characters, of course. Luffy swaps for Luffy. Sabo swaps for Sabo. Very nice. 9k leader. This 11k swing is going to be pretty big. And we do see the draw 2, trash 2. Looks like he drew an Ivankov and a Luffy. So that's pretty good. It looks like he's going to trash both of them, though. Yep, we do see the trash on the Ivankov and the Luffy. And we're going to see 11 at face. There's no countering this. You've got to either take or block. Oh, yep, he's going to take. Go down to 0. These Borsalinos are impossible to get through, though. Being unKOable is really nice. And we do see the draw for turn is a Sengoku. I imagine we'll see, again, the Tashigi come down, removing that Sabo, same as last turn. And then we've got... Then we can do 7-9, right? 7-9's pretty good here. That is looking like it might be game for the Smoker player. We'll just have to see what he goes for. We will have to see what he goes for. Could even remove the Sabo and then just put everything on leader, and that would be a swing of... Oh no, he's 9k leader. He's 9k leader this turn. He's not 7. He's been 7 every turn. My mistake. So we would see, I guess, the Tashigi for 5, 1 for leader effect. And then we'd see 11, which he can just get out of with the Garp and the Markano. But unless we see another Sabo on the next turn, it would be a little tricky. Interesting. Tricky situation here. But I imagine we will, at the very least, see that Tashigi come down. Get rid of that Sabo. Force him to have the Moria again. Brook comes down, -1 on the Sabo. Okay, we see Tashigi, -1 on Sabo. -2, sorry. So that Sabo is a 2 cost now. We are going to see the Tashigi come down, -4 the Luffy. Okay, so the Luffy's gone. We see another Tashigi. Okay, so he's gone double Tashigi. Remove both with the effect of the 2k Tashigi and the Brook to fill up that extra -1 on each. Pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. The BY Luffy player was obviously quite threatening on the next turn with the Luffy and the Moria and the leader. And Garp's there too for fun. Smoker's thinking, I think you have to counter this 9. Because you know that an 11's coming, right? You know that an 11's coming. So I think you've got to counter the 9. The BY Luffy player did also draw a black Sabo for turn, which is about the best thing they could have drawn. Really nice to see that there. Does give them the option of going double Sabo off their Moria. And we do see the counter, double 2k and the Sengoku. Very nice. Looks like we're going to see the Moria, of course. Sabo, very good. Trashing the Flampe. And leader effect, trashing Sabo for double Sabo. Standard BY stuff. We've seen this for quite a few sets now. These Sabos, really annoying for the black decks to deal with. I think we needed a little bit more early aggression from the Smoker player. We were a little bit too passive in the early game. Borsalino, very good in this matchup, but I do think we could have been a bit more aggressive to get this BY player down while they were quite clearly struggling. We do see the 11 come in and the block with the Borsalino. So we'll see what they go for here. 2 Sabos, it's tricky, right? 2 Sabos is tricky. Yeah, because you can't get 2 attacks in either. You can remove 1 Sabo and then attack with leader for however much it is, 11. But then you can't attack again, and it's not great. None of our characters are very big. That Moria did get Rygo'd immediately, which was a very good play from the BY. Removing that Moria threat from the field was a very smart move. Only 3 cards left. Smoker's got to be feeling he can nearly get there, but I think it's going to be too little too late. We can go 9-9-10 with the Tashigis, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. We do have 2 2Ks on the right. We will see what he wants to do. Looks like he's eyeing up 5 for the 4th copy of Tashigi. But we're thinking about it. We may be thinking about just swinging. It's tough to say. It's a tough one to call. I don't think there's any way out of this for the Smoker player. I think they are done and dusted. Only 2 minutes left on the clock as well. This has been quite a long game. BY had a pretty rough start, and I think Smoker had a pretty good start, but BY was able to draw out of their sticky situation, finally finding those Sabos. We did also see the small misplay, quite large misplay from the BY, crashing the baby Sabo for no reason, but it is what it is. Smoker's going to go 9, and then we see a 10. We'll block that with one of these Sabos, and then BY is going to be able to win on the clapback. We've got double Morias, we've got a Sabo to swing with, and we've got leader effect. Yep, 9. Smoker's going to be able to counter that. 3 cards. And then we do 9 again. We block Borsellino, and then 15, and that's the game. So, well played to both of these players, the BY and the Smoker. I think some interesting plays from both sides. I'm not so confident in some of the early game from the Smoker. And obviously BY made that misstep. He knows that that was a mistake. That was very obvious. But hey, it could have cost him the game. 1 card is pretty big in these BY decks. Either way, well played to both of these players. Both very skilled players to get this far. Maybe I was missing something on the Smoker side. And I'll see you in the top 8.